Hey, Magic Mirror, who's the favorite of them all? Why? Hey, Shrek, of course. Oh, Shrek 5.
Hello, I'm Seth, editor-in-chief of Forbidden Origins Comics. So that's Jalapeno over there. I guess he's just staying with me for this one. So a recent trailer for Shrek 5 came out. They changed the animation. It's a lot newer. Shrek has a lot more wrinkles. He's looking older. He's a bit thinner. People are freaking out. So much so that fans on the internet are calling it an ugly Sonic situation. Now, for those of you who don't remember, the original Sonic the Hedgehog movie introduced this new character design for Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was absolutely ugly, disgusting, kind of scary. They poke a lot of fun in it in the new Chip and Dale movie, where the character's name is literally Ugly Sonic. Eventually, fans responded, basically bullied the studio into changing his design to his more classic look. And I do not think without that redesign that we'd get a Sonic 3 or a 4 or a 5, and it seems like those set of movies might go on forever. So there's even a contingent of fans that believe that the Sonic thing was on purpose. And I'm here to say, no, that ugly Sonic thing is not on purpose. The Shrek thing is not a ploy to get people to watch the movie. No, all of that is intended, and it's kind of stuff that big studios want anyway. But what do I mean by that? I mean ugly Sonic is all the things that studio executives look for when it comes to character design for children. A big thing is, you know how like everything shifted from 2D animation over to 3D animation? Well, that happened for a lot of reasons, including labor organization. 3D was brand new, so like it didn't really fall into the laws that 2D animation organization did, so they kind of just had a field day with that, the corporations. Another thing is 3D is kind of quicker and cheaper to produce, in part because of that labor organization. Big third thing is companies just think that realism looks better to children. In fact, film execs believe that realism looks better overall. And so when you look at ugly Sonic, you look at his proportions, you look at his fur textures, and you look at his teeth, his mouth, the fact that his face is more actual hedgehog shaped. I think that's what studio executives were going for. You even see this in the redesigned Sonic, the one that actually looks good. It is more realistic looking than the video game Sonic. His eyes are separated, which in the original Sonic, he has just like a big white blob that two irises float around. His fur texture is a lot more realistic. If you play, especially the modern games where he's in 3D, it's kind of just like a solid block. When you have like close-ups in the film and stuff, it's like individual strands of spines, I guess. Another aspect, and this has been a thing since the entirety of film, is that film executives have this belief that film is a superior art form to most other art forms, especially video games and comic books, in part because comic books and video games were created for children, or essentially created for children, even though like they have evolved past children, and like even the children comic books and video games have more depth than they used to. Filmmakers feel superior, and because of that they have to put their own spin on things and go like, well, let's elevate your work. We will make this better than it was. So again, you look at Sonic, which has been a multi-million, possibly billion seller since the 90s. And then a film executive looked at that and goes like, we can do better than that. It doesn't even look real. That's not what hedgehogs look like. Why don't we get something that actually looks like a hedgehog? Bam, look at that little guy. He's a little guy. That's an actual man. That's what we wanted. That's better for you kids. And then another thing that points to executives wanting ugly Sonic to be the Sonic is that they had toys made. They were marketing him like crazy. It was McDonald's that was going to sell like children's toys. And if you know anything about that side of the industry, deadlines are very, very tight. And if you disrupt that, then you are losing millions, maybe billions. You can't just have all that set up to tear it down later as like a big joke because you're like, oh, this will give us an extra couple $1 million the box office. Because here's the thing, I think that original Sonic movie with ugly Sonic would have done all right. It would have done all right because all the Sonic fans would have gone anyway. A lot of the kids would have gone anyway. It's Sonic 2 that probably wouldn't have done well.
Meow?
But that's the thing, is like ugly Sonic broke so many people's brains that they believe that everything is ugly Sonic. They believe that Shrek's ugly Sonic. They believe Dragon Age is ugly Sonic. They believe like pretty much anything that doesn't fit what they believe a work should be or a sequel should be. You're like, oh, well, they're doing it on purpose. And it's like, no, they're not doing it on purpose. Probably a spreadsheet somewhere that says like, hey, if you include these elements, you'll make this much money. And that's what they're trying to do. And like for projects like Shrek 5, that's the whole animated feature. They only had to replace one character in the Sonic movies, which would probably cost a lot, but that was a character that wasn't there when they filmed, so they could just like pop him in. If you want to change Shrek, you have to change the entire art style. And even then, he doesn't look that different from what he used to. He just looks slightly different. And for some fucking reason, people can't handle that. Anyway, that's it. That's a short one today. And Ugly Sonic was not a trick. Ugly Sonic was 100% intentional. That's 100% what studio executives want. So acting like you'll achieve an Ugly Sonic solution to everything, that's not going to work out for you. Anyway, this is Origination. I'm Seth again. You can join us in the links below, our Discord, where we're chatting about our social media, forbiddenorigins.com and stuff like that. So bye.